Hello, hello! You join us back for the second half of the Re-SPH alternate reality game, also known as the Suzy ARG. Arc 1 contained 5 concurrent branches, focusing on lore and big, impressive set pieces. Arc 2, on the other hand, is focused on more typical ARG puzzles and some really interesting collaborations. It's split into 3 consecutive parts. First is SIVA Gunner related, second is a collaboration with an external source, and third is the wider internet. There's one other emergent thing that started happening during Arc 1 that I've kind of been glossing over. We'll go over that later in this video when the time is right, so stick around. We left off on December 22nd, 2024, after solving Arc 1 and finding the file int Re-SPH internal log. In it, Suzy says that she'll eventually be in contact. The text on the internal database startup screen says, in no uncertain terms, to go spend Christmas and New Year's with your family. The ARG will return afterward. Well, on January 17th, the ARG resumed with Let's Discuss Business. In this video, Suzy says, hope you had a nice Christmas, then some lore stuff, and if you accept the proposal, please make this clear to me. Well, let's let her know. The password for the grand folder is I accept the proposal. Inside of the grand folder, there's the null folder. We'll come back to that. If you recall in Arc 1, there were 2 inputs, the password and the oracle. The Fools and Oracle image and zips contain data that was inputted into both of those. Hey look, there's Count Cannoli's password. Are you happy, Count Cannoli? I mentioned your password. Yes, these were all recorded. In fact, we had a live feed of every single thing that was typed into them going into a Discord channel. The oracle.exe. This is the same oracle from Arc 1. Putting in different key phrases found throughout Arc 2 will reveal text files containing lore snippets inside the null folder. I'm not going to read you all of the lore, but I will pop up a message down here whenever we find one. What we're looking for, however, is curious.jpg. This is a very funny and self-explanatory image. Everybody gets the joke here. Hey look, there I am. Oh man. There are various keys with arrows pointing to parts of the image. It's this one, pointing to a SIVA Gunner caterpillar with some IP grabber text on it. This is a reference to Circus Splooge Mix, which is a rip featured in the 2024 MagFest rave. The first line is an internal database directory. We'll come back to that once we have the password. Let's fill this in with the line from the original video. You can see on the right, there's a dash next to the SS number field that is missing from the image. Well, if you recall the Minecraft step from Arc 1, there's a similar step that interprets a dash as a minus. So it's this number minus these emoticons. To find the answer to this, we're going to have to talk about the solvers. Although we've been here for over an hour, we haven't really talked that much about the real-life solving of an ARG. While going over it in this video, we've kind of had to skip straight to the ideal solution, but solving an ARG typically requires a large group of intelligent, creative, and motivated people trial and erroring their way through the steps. Before you know the answer to a step, a lot of the time is spent going down other paths that don't end up leading anywhere. And when you get a bunch of people like this together, you start to develop bonds, friendships, new vocabulary, and in-jokes. One prevalent one from Arc 1 was this joke infighting between teams solving each branch concurrently. This phrase, fools will never be solved, was one that caught on. If you recall back in the paint branch of Arc 1, there was a step that had some hidden text in it. Before that was found, SmallBlue, who you may know as the creator and maintainer of all the solver documents, ran this image through an AI image-to-video generator, and it spit this out. What a Nawaka. This was an immediate hit as an in-joke, and the word Nawaka became slang kinda similar to the idea of a red herring. Also, a user named MainTheme2 somehow created this image out of it, and it ended up becoming the mascot of Nawaka. While a red herring would typically come from the creators of an ARG, a Nawaka kind of means something that was posted by the solvers as a joke that doesn't lead anywhere. At the same time that this is happening, the creators of the ARG have kind of been spying on the solvers, monitoring their progress and enjoying watching them solve the things that they've been designing for a year. Enjoying this trend, and noting that Nawaka has the same 5-letter title as the existing directories, the ARG creators created a hidden internal database subdirectory for Nawaka. The ARG creators happened to also be developing their own in-jokes and started dropping a bunch of joke images and videos into the directory. We'll come back to this later. Parallel to this, solvers have also created a joke Nawaka folder discoveries during the break between Arc 1 and 2 in the same style as the real solver documents. They made over 100 pages of the blank zone. BinaryPenCH, who you may recall from Arc 1, created these ponder emoticons for each page. Back to the ARG for now. Now, we have the SS number minus these thinky guys. Go through the Joke Nawaka document and replace each one with the number of the zone it appears in and you get the second number. Subtract the Nawaka number from the SS number for the password. Navigating to the Grand Broadcast folder, it contains one RAR, 20 Figments Go Hawaii on Idaho. Using the number as the password reveals 20 GeoGuessr-like images. It's Rotterdam. The titles of the images around Rotterdam all seem to have this format, numbers 1 through 10 and letters A to G. What we're going to have to do is find the exact locations of each image and plot it on a map of Rotterdam. Starting with 1, we find the location of 1A and draw a line from it to 1B, and then to 1C, and finally 1D. We can see that it draws out a Z, and noting that the letters of 1A, B, C, and D are all uppercase, we can record a capital Z. We'll have to do the same for all groups 1 through 10, reusing locations if they contain multiple letter and number pairs. Doing this, we can spell this out. 10 characters is the correct length for a Discord invite link, which leads to a server called the SivaGunner Trivia Quiz 7000. The quiz is administered by a bot called DogenJ, with an avatar that's a picture of a dolphin. This is relevant, I promise. The bot says that there are 7 levels, where you have to answer 7 questions correctly in a row. So let's give it a try. SivaGunner's main catchphrase is, "I only upload high quality video game rips." One of the keys we've lost was found in "a quest for quality." The bot will also sometimes spit out fake questions or quips related to dolphins or other cetaceans. After you've answered the final question of round 3, the bot appears to crash and spits out a long message of ease. Well, all of the dolphin references hint at this being a cetacean cipher. Decoding it, it says, "Congratulations on beating level 7. You've proven yourself to be knowledgeable on all things Siva. However, there is one final task. Form 1994. First appearance, Mar, and then the text gets garbled. Please pay attention for just a bit longer." From DogenJ. Well, this is a reference to Transmission from Siva Swim, a rip uploaded a few months prior during the Cartoon Network Adult Swim event rerun. From it, we get 6 lines. Formed, and then a year before the channel existed. And then first appearance, month and a year while the channel was active. What we need to do is find the band that was formed that year and find their first appearance in a rip on the channel during that month. This is a reference to a step from the Adult Swim Delilah ARG, which had a similar step but with album releases instead of channel appearances. The solution was found by taking the first word of each band's name. Finding the correct band for each line, they can be verified by the first letters spelling out DogenJ, the name of the trivia bot. Putting the names together like in the Adult Swim ARG, we can input this string into the oracle to confirm. We need one more piece for the full password. Back in the decoded cetacean cipher, there's a missing reference and 11 characters, the same as a YouTube link. This links to Circus Discord Nitro version, of which the opening clicks make up a tap code. Decoding the tap code, we get, "Can a hawk go to Albania?" If you return to the Trivia Quiz Discord after crashing by winning level 3, the bot asks for a passcode, signed Dogen.j. Combining these two, inserting "Can a hawk go to Albania" where the period is, use this as the password to get access to a secret channel, Noticer Chat. It contains a chat between 2 fake users, Obelistical and Wanderer of Pixels 12. Looking up Wanderer of Pixels 12, we find an account on the SivaGunner wiki. He has 6 comments, all on Roblox rips. Take the first letter of these in order, PETRLB. Looking this up, we can find a Roblox user with that name. He has one creation, PETRLB's Place. And please forgive me, I'm a little bit too old to ever have played Roblox, so I'm bound to get some terminology wrong here. In it, there's a building with an obstacle course in the basement. Around the map, there are Gadagadi NPCs which seem to speak in a chicken nugget language. There's also the Gadagadi Explainer 7000, an unholy hybrid of Gadagadi and Joke Explainer 7000. She gives us a string of numbers. Splitting these into groups of 2 numbers, each number corresponds to the position of the alphabet. So 01 is A, 02 is B, etc. It seems, in the nugget speech, each digraph of consonant and vowel corresponds to 1 digit. If we travel through the map, going through the obstacle course, we're able to speak to 11 Gadagadis. Translating their speech into English using this method, we can understand they're giving us math instructions. 1, start there, subtract. 2, take mean, vertical bar. They give 11 math instructions. At the bottom of the Roblox map, through the obstacle course, there's a room that's taken from the popular Roblox game, Regretivator. On one of the poles, there's a sticky note with 11 characters. There's no solution to be found here. The information is incomplete. How about if we boot up the real Regretivator game? If you aren't familiar, Regretivator is a multiplayer game about riding an elevator and exploring the floors that you stop on. If you go join the Regretivator game and make your way to this room, you'll find a matching sticky note along with 11 characters in it. Yes, somehow this ARG has placed the clue into the actual Regretivator game. We'll have to use the math instructions here to compare the 2 strings. Take the Unicode value of each letter. In Gadagadi's instructions, there refers to the note in the Regretivator game, and here refers to the one on this map. 1, start there, subtract. 2, take mean, vertical bar. 3rd, add. 4, start there, subtract. 5, start here, subtract. 6, same as 5 in method. Funny, divide, Kangzi, radical. 8, start here, subtract. 9, have, then start here, subtract. 10, start there and subtract, just the number. 11, start here, subtract. Taking the resulting numbers and turning them back into Unicode, we get a YouTube ID. It leads to Opening from Baldi's Basics in Puzzles and ARGs, but this isn't on the Siva Gunner channel. This is on a fan channel called Baldi Gunner.
Hi, I'm Baldi Gunner. Welcome to my step in Siva Gunner's ARG. Now it's time for your puzzles. Answer the 3 questions correctly, and you might get something special. Problem 1. 237 plus 758 equals... When you think you have the right answer, just go to the link in the description and type it in.
Going to the link and putting in the answer of 995, it links to problem 2.
Aha! You got it! Now for problem 2. Evaluate the contour integral of z squared plus 1 over z cubed minus z along the closed contour where the absolute value of z equals 2.
Of course, the answer to this is negative 2 pi I. This leads to problem 3, which presents the trolley problem.
The train is coming down the track, and nobody's at the wheel. You choose to pull the lever or not pull the lever. Great job! That was the correct choice. You murdered those 5 people by doing nothing. Well, congratulations on completing my step in Siva Gunner's ARG. Now all you have to do is...
A card shows up after the question, which links to PlayStation Startup Blank. It contains creepy gameplay of Densha to Go on the PS1.
Densha de Go!
ブレーキをかけ減速して
At the end, the crash screen shows a long list of math instructions. Before that, there's some text that says,
パストザーデジレイ for understanding.
which can be understood as past the desire for understanding. This is a reference to the song Wave Tapper by Frums, where the line is present in the description. As this was happening, there was a rip of the song Wave Tapper that was uploaded. In it, this cube blinks die faces 63 times. The numbers at the end of the Densha to Go rep also go up to 63. Replacing the numbers with the number on the die face at the given index and performing the arithmetic operations, we get this result. Decoding this using a multi-tap cipher, we get grand/RD509 showcase assets. Navigating to this directory, we find one file. Clicking it redirects to a playlist, AMFC, which started an instant premiere on the channel. The video was called Aria Math Fusion Collab. It starts off as what appears to be an Aria Math Fusion collab, but after a few seconds, switches to a GameChap and Birdie video. GameChap and Birdie are old Minecraft YouTubers that used to review Minecraft mods.
Yes, and I say, fellas, we're investigating this videogram, a rather spiffing new version of Minecraft, version 0.2.9, I say.
2.9? That sounds sublime! Say it, old Bob, come right along and leave down here.
I sat
Yes, I
through
say,
Puzzle
Bob's
Room
your jolly
for
uncle. There
4
it is, ladies and
hours. Yes, this is a nearly 4-hour-long Minecraft Let's Play video. This whole video idea spawned from people complaining about the 40-minute runtime of the Fool's Branch Minecraft with Gadget video. So GameChap and Birdie were determined to make this one as long as possible. GameChap and Birdie have to go talk to the mayor to figure out who has replaced their paintings with Inspector Gadget.
I'm in archives, though, chap. I say,
Yes,
in we
yeah,
go,
I'm
chap.
in archives. Let's get it.
Pipe, word, go!
My word!
Let's replace the
This is-
bloody
this is
paintings, though,
rubbish.
chap.
Here, they go through a hallway with the Fool's Branch steps.
It's supposed to be Wordle.
As this was a premiere, there was no looking ahead in the video. Imagine everyone's shock when they reach the brick pyramid after half an hour of dawdling around. A lot of this video goes in circles, traversing the impossible geometry of the pyramid. One of note is the terminal, which they loop through 3 separate times.
What is
Oh,
it?
I say! Look,
I
approaching.
say it's the bloody
terminal's
terminal.
150 meters ahead.
I say, but we continue down this way, chap.
I say!
I say we barely find the terminal and find a minecart on the way home, I say.
Yes.
Very jolly
I
well
say,
go
look,
home.
approaching. The terminal's 150 meters ahead.
I say 150 meters away. I say tally-ho. I say,
Can you believe it, guys?
Terminal,
Just
150 meters ahead. Terminal,
Isn't it-
150 meters
woohoo! I am so happy about this information.
At one point, Og appears and leads them to the chest in the library.
I say, it's Og! It's Og!
where? What, Betty? I say it's Barry Og, I say.
Where they place the Nether Star that the Nostalgia Critic will eventually find.
Ah, yes, indeed. He's found a bloody chest, I say. I say, I'll place this bloody nether.
I'll fly around, I'll look for you.
Chap. Creative energy, I say. I say, tally-ho, what's in here? I say, I say Great Scott, it's Isravello, chap! Great Scott.
Do not let him get you, good lord.
Ballymeno, chap.
Show stage! Look at the show
I say, but it's Benny here, Rhino, chap! I say he's on the right side, oh, chap! I say close up Benny Toro, boy!
Having a dance party!
Having a belly dance party, oh, chap!
I said,
Belly Notch, I say, Mr. Notch Esquire, oh, boy! I see
the diamonds!
He's belly well taking our diamonds, oh, chap!
Diamonds!
I say you belly can, I say!
I say it's turned on, old boy!
Perhaps the belly toiletries belly well exploded, oh, boy! I say, somebody's had a poop disaster, oh, chap!
I say! I've had a poop disaster, old chap!
I say, is that a belly frightened poop disaster, oh, boy?
It's a poop disaster!
I say there's a belly poop disaster again, oh, chap! I mean poop disasters everywhere, oh, chap!
As a concession for the excessively long runtime, the next step of the ARG was made excessively clear.
Look, it's the Google Drive room!
The Google Drive room, oh, boy! I say.
It ends with them in the field from the end of Portal 2.
My word!
I say it's Benny August hero, chap! And Mr. Norman Squire, you know! What's that, oh, boy?
Hey look, there's a Noaka block.
What is that? I say, Benny, what have you done, man? I say you better kill me!
Going back to the Google Drive room, it contains a link to a Google Drive. It looks like somebody accidentally Siva Gunnered themselves by building a lowercase L instead of an uppercase I. Thanks to Baldy Gunner in the comments for catching this. Anyway, going to the Google Drive, we're presented with this image. In old versions of Minecraft like GameChap and Birdie were playing, blocks had numerical IDs. Taking the IDs of the blocks in this chest and converting them to ASCII, it spells contact weavingbreeze.info@gmail. Sending an email to Weaving Breeze, we get back what appears to be a draft of one of Tony Fox's Undertale/Deltarune newsletters. In it, it contains 2 broken embeds with links to dealtarune.com. Even though the tags are broken, we can still open the links. Despite the fact that this bottom link should be a PNG, it actually leads to a web page. Clicking on the annoying dog plays a conversation. The first link leads to an image of Chris next to some Wingles. The next step is contained within the URL. The last section is in base 64. Decoding this, we're given a YouTube link. It leads to Snowdin Town brief walkthrough on the channel Staggering Winds. Staggering Winds is a fan-made, ARG-like, alternate reality horror series about a person showing off their copy of Deltarune and Undertale that seem to have unique properties compared to the real games. What you may notice is this is not the Siva Gunner channel, but somehow we have a step that leads to an unlisted video. In it, the player walks around Snowdin Town talking to the residents. Eventually, he goes into the infamous lab in Sans and Papyrus's house. He interacts with the machine and the game crashes. In the description, we find a pretty long list of numbers. The first batch has the header 2015 and the second one 2018. As it turns out, Undertale was released in 2015 and Deltarune in 2018. ARG solvers noticed that in the 2015 section, the first number of these pairs was always between 1 and 7. Well, if you boot up Undertale, you'll notice that the intro has 7 pages of text. The first number corresponds to the page, and the second to which letter from the text to take. So for 1-3, we go to the first page and take the third letter, N. For 3-10, we go to the third page and take the 10th letter, O. Repeat this for each pair of numbers to get the end of a URL, /none0/Newbert in memoriam. And doing the same for the Deltarune section yields the exact same result. And the site we have to use this link with is the Staggering Winds website, staggeringwinds.neocities.org. Navigating to this page, we find a eulogy for my man Newbert. Newbert was more than just an average Darkener. He was a beacon of hope, courage, and selflessness. With unwavering determination, Newbert made the ultimate sacrifice to save everyone, putting the safety of everyone from the cyber world above his own life. His bravery in the face of unimaginable odds has forever etched him into the hearts of all who knew him. At the bottom of the page, there's a couple banners. The first one, this site is a part of Game Glitches and Secrets webring. It leads to Holiday Girl's Game Secrets blog, which is a Staggering Winds parody of Noelle's blog on the Deltarune website. Going into the comments, we can see the first one from Oracle. Go back, seek out those who are lost, and listen to their advice. The full picture can only form when all the pieces are in place. The leave a comment text indicates it's unclickable, but clicking it leads to an image of Goner Haruka, which quickly closes once opened. Goners are hidden characters in Undertale commonly associated with W.D. Gaster. Recall from part 1 of the ARG, in Rebooted Tale, we killed Haruka, turning her gray. Goners, in this context, refer to characters that have canonically died in the Siva Gunner universe. If we open the image of Goner Haruka, we can see her file name is 2 characters long. Well, what we're going to need to do for this step is locate all of the Goners hidden around the website. The next easiest one is found by going back to the Newbert Memorial page and opening the Cryptid Hunt page. If we click the flying cryptid in this image, we're brought to the second Goner, Protogent's brother. To find the next Goners, we'll have to go back to the Siva Gunner channel. There are 2 rips on the channel that reference Staggering Winds, Goner Piece Unused, and Muse Station Transmission from Deltarune. Both of these rips have some text hidden within the captions. In the source code of the Newbert Memorial page, we can find a comment. Note, peregrinate this to the other pages. Using peregrinate as a Vigenère key, we can decode both of these to the bean/beaned and the girl nobody remembers. The bean leads you to this page with a single off-sync Greendella bean sprite. Clicking on this brings you to the Goner Parappa the Rappa. And going to the Girl Nobody Remembers page, we can find a blog post by Noelle desperately trying to remember Susie, a character from Deltarune that's gone missing in Staggering Winds. Clicking on the name Susie brings you to a Goner bag of Lay's crab-flavored chips. Yes, really. We got a peep of this in part 1 of the ARG, but briefly, Omega Crab Lays is a bag of crab-flavored Lays. He's part of the Omegas, a community of living food objects that live in the desert. He usually speaks by singing Gida 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 Go. After seeing the number file schedule some rips, Omega Crab Lays tries to communicate with him by singing Cotton Eye Joe. However, after some warnings, the number file summons an E-tile which he throws towards Omega Crab Lays, transporting him back to the Omega world. Omega Crab Lays is killed immediately upon contact with the E-tile. Anyway, the final Goner can be found back on the Staggering Winds site. Well, there is a Deltarune event called the Spamton Sweepstakes, which led to finding the page Deltarune/Des. In Deltarune, Des, short for December, is the missing or deceased sister of Noelle. A missing character in Staggering Winds is Susie, so we can try and find the same page on this site. Navigating to staggeringwinds.neocities.org/none0/Susie, we see that the site can't be reached. Or can it? Clicking refresh, we can see this error change, or the URL change, or the text corrupt. If we refresh enough times, we can find the final Goner, Mario Ramirez. Now recall the comment, go back, seek out those who are lost, and listen to their advice. The full picture can only form when all the pieces are in place. Now that we have all of the Goners and their file names, we have to put them in chronological order of when they died. This is similar to the Remember When They Left step in part 1. In Siva Gunner canon, Parappa the Rappa died in the Christmas Comeback Crisis episode 9 on August 1st, 2017. Protogent's brother died in the Siva Gunner Spooktacular Halloween Horror Special on November 5th, 2019. Mario died during the April Fool's event in 2021. As mentioned earlier, Omega Crab Lays died in Waterfall's short mix from Undertale on July 29th, 2024. Finally, Haruka died when we killed her in Arc 1 of the Re-SPH ARG in December 2024. Putting the file names together, we get a link to another unlisted Staggering Winds video. Similar to the Undertale video, this one shows Chris walking around the town speaking with NPCs. Recall the theories blog on the Staggering Winds site. Does anybody remember the name of that one library? I have memories of going there as a kid. I swear it was infinite. It was so huge. XD. Recall the Nostalgia Critic and Game Chap and Birdie Minecraft videos, where they went to an infinite library.
What's in here?
Chap?
The Item Library.
I say they built another Bally library. Oh boy, we've already got one, chap.
I say this is quite
What's the matter?
large.
I say, by George. I say, this is rather remarkable. I say, it stretches on for miles, I say.
For miles and miles.
I say, this is jolly fantastic, chap.
Astute viewers will notice that this is a reference to the Library of Babel, a short story about an infinite library containing everything that can be written. More important to us is the Library of Babel website. We're going to need directions to navigate this library. We can find the reference hex by going back to the Cryptid Hunt page. It says, Mothman speaks in Babel. Mothman can speak in a strange and cryptic language he utters. Going back to the Cryptid Hunt event from Halloween 2024, we can find a strange community post to use as the reference hex. Now that we're in the room, we need to find the correct book. Throughout the Staggering Winds video, we can find the directions to navigate the library. The Teen's Corner says Wall 3, Top Shelf. In the Undertale video, somebody in the library mentions Volume 9, and back in Deltarune, Monster Kid mentions the important stuff on page 65. Navigating there, we find the message. I'm afraid I won't be able to follow you for much longer. You've already been blinking in and out of my sight. You must be crossing the end of my reality. I fear I may be lost completely if I look any further. You have to complete the bridge between worlds yourself. The important part isn't the text. It's actually this other highlighted text. See, the Library of Babel website highlights in yellow all English words of 3 or more letters. Take the first letter of these yellow words that aren't in the readable text for "You're the annoying now dog," and then in green, user, and below that the yellow words spell out "I answer," Lancer with an I, and at the end of the page, .com. "You're the annoying now dog" is a reference to "You're the man now dog," or YTMND, a website centered on web pages featuring a juxtaposition of an image along with a looping sound file. On the site, we can find a user named I answer. The user has one page, pixelspics.ytmnd.com. Opening it, you're presented with a long GIF and accompanying audio.
So, how do I get rid of that web page?
You're the man now, dog. You're the man now, dog. You're the...
Slowing down the GIF, we can find various floating letters spelling out DRGCCYKVTK. The presence of the pink Siva Gunner statue hints towards the Siva Gunner private hosting platform, siva-gunner.com. Going to the file with this ID, we find YouTube Shorts Nugget Invasion, version e.exe. Running this, we're presented with the game. Decompiling the game, we can find a comment from Boykisser. "Oh my god, hi, it's me Boykisser again. I got a new playlist for you. Please give it a watch." The playlist he links is called Fire Media to Watch When Kissing Boys. Fire Media refers to MediaFire, the file hosting service. And taking the first letter of each video of the playlist, we can get an ID from the MediaFire link. It leads to a GIF called "Do Not Call Dr. Piccolo at 3 AM. Thanos Dance Gone Wrong. Gamers Score 3. A 3.5 minute long GIF. In it, Dr. Piccolo calls Thanos because he's at Subway and forgot Thanos' order. Thanos is extra hungry because he is pregnant with Marcianito, who calls Dr. Piccolo and reveals Thanos is actually having twins. Anyway, Thanos mentions pausing writing his reviews, and Marcianito says,
"Tal vez haga que deje de hablar de ese tal siestes ricos."
Maybe it will make him stop talking about that Rich Sevens guy. Looking up Rich Sevens on review sites, we can find a profile on Letterboxd and Backlogged. On Backlogged, he left a review of the Siva Gunner game, Colo Terrorita. Good game, although I came across a strange glitch by accidentally putting in an input. The other review, for just Colo, gives the input, "Gone for my balls." Let's try it. Go to the Siva Gunner Newgrounds and type in "Gone for my balls." You're presented with this screen. It's a reference to the original Cicada 3301 image, a pretty famous ARG-like puzzle. Clicking on the link takes you to the same text as an image. Opening the image as a text file, you find something at the end. Maximus Prophet Haltman says, and then the ciphertext. Decoding this using ROT47, similar to the Cicada 3301 step, we get an imager link. Whoops, don't look at this chicken. Looks like you can't guess how to take your eyes off the chicken. If you look at the Game Over oval, the borders hide something strange. Stretching these out, you can turn it into a barcode that, when scanned, gives you a YouTube ID. It leads to 3Y3S Betamix from Beatmania 2DX 16 Express. At one point, we can see a screenshot of Sony Vegas singing. In the top right, it says, "Re-entry complete. You may find me at," and then an ID. Reentry.co is a reference to the text hosting service, Rentry. Using this string as a Rentry link, we can find this file. This is an EDL file, an edit decision list, which represents the positions of clips in a video. The videos in question are the internal logs from Arc 1. Hinted at by the previous step being a Sony Vegas screenshot, we can import this EDL into Vegas to place the internal logs in a specific order and length. If we now watch the video it makes, each clip shows one word appear on screen. If we read each word that shows up, it says, "You're back, but I can just barely keep you in my view." It continues, and then it says, "I suppose the best place to start is a /play. Back on the internal database, we can now navigate to /play. There, we find Sivaria, a Terraria world. This is a world from the Siva Gunner fan server's Terraria server. In it, we can find this strange set of armor stands. Take the first letter of each armor stand to spell out a message. The cycle continues, no way to stop them. They stew, they rot. Rot is a hint to use ROT13. Down here, we can also find some more armor stands. Take the first letter of each set and apply ROT13 to get the next directory. When it rains, it pours. Navigating back to /play/when it rains, it pours, we find an image and a zip folder. It's a map from the game Rain World. In the top left, there's a character named Spearmaster from the More Slug Cats mod. The Spearmaster is the only character able to receive broadcasts. Go to this room circled on the map and you'll get a broadcast. It seems to be a conversation between some of the ARG solvers. At the bottom, Magnum says, "It's a Blowfish cipher. Take the abbreviated names of all of the solvers in order in the chat log to get the key. Decrypt the map name with the key to get the next directory. Purposed Evolution." Navigating to this directory, we find 3 files: Nightmare.sc3, a SimCity 3000 save file, and Jarius Temporalis, and the Child of Math, 2 Spore characters. Spore creatures can be viewed in Spore by dragging their image onto the game. Let's start with the Child of Math. In its description, there are coordinates that lead to the solar system in Spore. Third planet in the solar system is Earth. It says to keep this handy, so let's remember Earth. His tag says, "Page is ?" and some ciphertext. To decode this, we'll need to look at the SimCity save Nightmare.sc3. Opening it up, we're presented with a pretty massive city with a strange grid of streets in the center. This is actually a nonogram board. A nonogram is a type of puzzle where you have to fill in cells in continuous blocks of certain lengths, specified by the numbers on the outside. This structure at the bottom left gives the value of each building, so the white one is 1, red is 2, etc. Here is the solution to the nonogram. If you break these up like so, they can be read as Braille. It says, "Child Num Greek Myth." And this is the Vigenère key used to decode the text in the Child of Math's description. Decoding it, it says, "What's happening, Forum?" We can assume the answer is Forum. The key itself is also a hint. Child Num Greek Myth. Well, the Child of Math's description points to Earth. In Greek mythology, Earth is personified as Gaia. The Gaia Forum is a forum for the game Gaia. To find out where to go on it, let's look at Jarius Temporalis. His description has some misplaced characters, and together they spell key then A0. Decode the ciphertext with the same Vigenère key to get DBI AFD BBB. Using the key, and then regarding A as 0, B as 1, etc., we get this number. His description says 9 traits have enough differences. Take the numbers in his traits, 431, 334, 434, and subtract the number we have for the Gaia Forum post ID. Yes, the Earth is round. Recall the Child of Math's description says page is ? The You Stupid Math Kid tells us that 9 plus 10 is 21.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
Navigating to page 21, we find a post by Ricardo Cabeza. "The Earth is shaped like a ball. That's all I want to saying on the matter." His Gaia Online character looks suspiciously like Tito Dick from the Nutshack. Let's open his profile. It's about time I become one with the Trinity. They would dare to booting me out. They go down on my nuts. This page is a reference to the Dick's Retribution channel event celebrating the 16th anniversary of the Nutshack. There's a bunch of hidden text scattered mostly in the margins of the page. There's lots of very interesting things here, but what we're looking for is over here. I'm not seeing the RIPS connection here. Well, astute fans of the channel may remember a game called RIP Connections, a Siva Gunner themed take on the New York Times game Connections. We need to input a date. On Ricardo Cabeza's Gaia profile, he mentions a specific date. Before that typhoon and our baby boom, I remember it was the day we snuck out to sea, the start of a revolution led by the people for the people. He's referring to the People's Power Revolution, a peaceful revolution that occurred in the Philippines, starting on February 22nd, 1986. Navigating to this date in RIP Connections, we can find a hidden puzzle. The Puzzle Designer field gives us a hint as to the format we're looking for. To find the solution, we'll have to solve the puzzle. Video Yerky, Face, Dumb Loopy Thing, and the Space video from the Reboot ARG all contain a song from Yume Nikki. Full Story from the Siva Gunner Halloween Horror Special, Siva AI Log, Ransomware Undertale 2, and RoboGang Johnny Beta Mix all reference viruses. One Winged Angel, but with classic internet era memes, Breakdown, O2 in Love, and Siva Gunner Smash Ultimate Tournament Top 6 Beta Mix from Arc 1 all contain something from Final Fantasy. Main Theme 905, Main Theme Magical Mathematics, Dinosaur 13.wave, and Dire Doc's in-game version all relate to math. Backwards in order of difficulty, we can take the extra capitalized letters from each answer to spell mask. This gives us the first part of the answer, but we still need to find 5 numbers. There's another hidden connection between these. Within each group, one of the rips references an arrangement from Overclocked Remix, also known as OC Remix. All OC Remix songs have this OCR 0 and then 4 number format. Find the OC Remix page that each RIP references and add each ID together to get the digits we need to complete the next subdirectory. Navigating to grand/mask09564, there's a link to the Steam Workshop entry for Noaka's Nextbots. I'd like to bring your attention back to Nowaka, the fan-made distraction from the ARG. You may have noticed that I was mentioned a few times in the Suzy ARG credits. I was roped into this through my voice acting role as Reader in the Fool's Branch finale from Part 1. Eventually, I was given access to the rest of the ARG development server, and I assisted in developing a few parts of it. However, I didn't really touch any of the ARG puzzle steps. We've discussed the work of the ARG creators and the work of the solvers in actually solving the ARG. However, there's a third group of people that sits somewhere between the two that we haven't discussed yet, the playtesters. A group of people from the Siva Gunner team were given access to a very limited part of the development server to work together in verifying that the ARG was solvable. Well, after the ARG was fully playtested and live, the playtesters were asked if they wanted to submit shitposts to go into the Nowaka folder, and, as you would expect, they started developing their own shitpost ARG to go along with the folder. This is the Nowaka ARG. The Nowaka ARG is an alternate reality game created by the playtesters of the Re-SPH ARG, aka the Suzy ARG. The contents of the Nowaka folder are all shitposts. At the top, there's a folder called The Prize. It contains a program that allows you to vote for a number. After a certain period of time, if enough people have voted for the same number, it will try to unlock the vault. We have to find the number hidden within the other files in the Nowaka folder. One of the shitposts, nowaki.png, has something hidden inside of it. Very faintly, at the top corner of the key, there's a code. It leads to a Mario Maker 2 level called Clear This Course. Within the level, there's a hidden 11-character code, and a comment from the author of the level saying, "The key is within the shaft." Decoding the characters using the Vigenère key, Shaft, we get a YouTube ID of the video, Geometry-Shaft, Work in Progress Layout by Geodaka. It's a Geometry Dash level for the rip Shaft from Hyperflex. In the description, it says the song is by SY_JR. Going to the rip, we can find a comment from the creator of the level, Geoaka. It says, "Awesome stuff, gonna use it in my Geometry Dash level. ID is," and then the ID. Well, if we combine the name of the artist with this code, we get a YouTube link to the video, Intro Draft LOL 1/4/2025 by Fryfish. It's a fake draft of the King for Another Day intro. In the tags, it says, "Go further down the rabbit hole, I cannot take this anymore." Going back to the Nowaka folder, we can find a hidden subdirectory, I cannot take this anymore. In it, there's an exe called Flappy Nowaka, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It has a goal of getting to level 77. Well, getting to level 77, we're presented with a video. The melody of the video is Morse code, and translating it, we get the value, 77677. This isn't the answer though, we need to find more. In the Nowaka folder, there's a file called click_backwards.zip. Opening it, we find Brainless Clicker. If we achieve a score of 7,777,777, it plays a clip of Chip the Ripper spelling out YEAH. Converting the letters to their positions in the alphabet, we get 25518. XOR that with the previous number to get the answer, 85187. Putting this into the Lock and Key vault, we get access to the Nowaka internal log, file int Nowaka. During my diagnostics, I stumbled upon quite a peculiar folder. The folder contains a random collection of files, ciphers and secret codes hidden in plain sight. Increasingly so, the Nowaka directory provides me with nothing but dead ends. Back to the Suzy ARG, we're on the Nowaka's Nextbots page. The description mentions, check out my Pinterest account. Nextbots are a type of NPC in Garry's Mod that are, typically, flat images that follow you around. Launching the mod, this is exactly what we see. The solution to this step can be found in the Nicolas Cage Nextbot. When he attacks, he plays a sound. Putting these characters in a Pinterest link, we can find an account. That's all you had to do. He's got one post, a parody of a Majora's Mask poster. The dawn is your enemy. How are you supposed to save the world? At the top, the ESRB rating says 16-bit ghoul, and next to that, SoundCloud.com. Searching SoundCloud for the 16-bit ghoul, we can find this user, a reference to the 8-bit beast, another renowned chiptune artist. He's got 5 songs uploaded, file select, and levels 1 through 4. In the banner, there's some text at the top right that says on.soundcloud.com/ we need to find the rest of this URL. Going in order, download each file and look at its metadata. Each one has a strange description with what looks to be dates, but they're in weird orders. Each one also has a string of letters and numbers, probably part of the final URL. To order these, we'll have to look at the descriptions. Noticed anything about file select?
The big famous constant E is equal to 2.718.
Ignoring the letters, 2718 are the first 4 digits of E, and the next 4 are 2818, so level 3. Put these in order to get a link to the private song. First chiptune thing. First attempt at a chiptune thing. If it sounds weird, I've been having trouble with FamiTracker, and keep getting weird exports. Sorry about that. Project file if anybody wants to help. By the way, let me know if you have any cool cheat codes. Here are some I have. Let's look at the exported version. If we view it in a spectrogram, we can see some drawings hidden inside of it. Music, released September 25th, 2001. This would be Tenacious D's self-titled album. Movie, released May 10th, 2002, is G. YouTube, released December 19th, 2016, is Numberphile's Oilers Number video. And the book, released June 4th, 2001, would be P is for Peril. Taking these letters with the correct capitalization and converting to hex, we get a number. Let's go back to the 16-bit ghouls download link. Download the file and we can open it in FamiTracker. Using the cheat code he provided, we can get the lowercase letters SM. As it turns out, SM and 8 numbers is a Nico Nico video ID. It leads to the video sequence. There are these black and white bars flashed throughout the video. There are 5 images interlaced. The simplest I can put this is, if you play all of them at once and cover them up so that 1 is shown and then 4 are hidden, the message is revealed. Scratch that. We're going Steve mode. Going to the Scratch account Steve mode, he has 8 projects. The one we're interested is here, Christmas Spirit Clicker. You're able to view the code of Scratch games. Around the code, there are a few of these hidden notepads. Putting them together, we can get this base 64 string, which turns out to be a cookie clicker save file. Loading it, we're greeted with this in-game progress. The number of the buildings here is suspicious. Note down the amount of each building and its name. Put the buildings in alphabetical order and convert the amount of them into ASCII characters. We get this ID, MR2HSCKN. The bakery is owned by Tiny Tim, hinting that this is part of a tiny URL link. Opening the link, we're redirected to a Google Drive folder called SG Classified. SG Classified is a take on the University Puzzle Hunt format. A puzzle hunt is an event where teams compete to solve a series of puzzles, many of which are tied together via meta-puzzles. Puzzle hunt puzzles are usually not accompanied by direct instructions for how to solve them. Figuring out the necessary approach is part of the puzzle.
A puzzle hunt style puzzle is a data set. It can be a grid of letters, a Sudoku, a video, an audio. It can be anything that contains hidden information that can eventually resolve into an answer that is a word or a phrase. Puzzles like this are about communicating an idea. But where I'm trying to be as clear as possible for you now, puzzles have to navigate the line between abstraction and clarity. They have to be obtuse enough to make you work for it, but elegant enough so that you can get to the aha moment where everything clicks into place. Who here knows what Settlers is? Nerds.
Multiple universities hold these. Personally, I've only ever briefly participated in the MIT Mystery Hunt, but this step was based on the Harvard CS50X course's Puzzle Day. In the folder, there are 10 puzzles and a README. The README gives the rules. Complete 80%, or 8 out of 10 puzzles, and input them into classified/download.exe. All of the puzzles have thematic names, which usually assist in finding the answer. The answers are all single words, usually also with a clever link to the puzzle's name. Let's go over each puzzle. The first puzzle is This Is All You Need, but we're gonna skip this one for now. Face Off on the Crossing presents us with half of a chess puzzle. We'll need to place the white pieces on the board in order to complete the puzzle, which we can then solve. Astute viewers will notice the name Face Off on the Crossing is a reference to FaceBridge, which is a rare but reoccurring joke on the SivaGunner channel. It's a reference to this comment. FCEBHIADG is an anagram of FaceBridge. it is not an anagram of Facebridge. In algebraic notation, locations on the chessboard are referred to by their ranks, or rows, denoted by the numbers 1 through 8, and their files, or columns, denoted by the letters A through H. Well, we'll have to take that original string of characters, ignoring I because it's not a chess file. Now, we have the order of files to place the pieces in. Place the leftmost one, the king, on rank 1 file F. Place the second one, the queen, on rank 2 file C. Continue this for all chess pieces to get the final board state for a chess puzzle. For solving this puzzle, I'm going to pass you off to my friend Sammy, who's very good at chess.
Hi, my name is Sammy, and I'm here to help you solve this chess puzzle. It's white to move, and the first move I see that jumps out to me is rook takes b8 check. Now, it's a very forcing move. It forces black to take the knight. One other thing to note is that instead of rook takes b8, there's also knight to c5 check. However, after pawn takes knight, there's not a great follow-up for white. There's no way to get on this b line with the queen without it being captured, and there's no great follow-up. So let's focus on rook takes knight. So, rook takes knight check, the king takes the knight, and the only forcing move here is queen takes a4 check. Once again, a very forcing move. It actually forces black to block with the knight, knight a5, and after that, we have two options for mate in one. We can either go queen to b5 check, or bishop to b5 check, mate. Preferably, I like to mate with the smaller value piece, so we can go for the bishop, but let's put all these moves on the board. Rook takes knight, king takes knight, queen takes a4 check, knight a5, and bishop to b5 checkmate, as you can see over here on the bar on the right. Checkmate in 3. Hope this has been helpful. Have a good one.
With the solution written in algebraic notation, take the ranks that each of the pieces move to. These are indexes in the name written in the bottom right. James Hector. The 8th letter is C. The 6th is H. E, S, S. The answer is chess. 3 is elementary crossword, which presents us with what seems to be a simplistic crossword puzzle, but it's lacking any down clues, and the numbers they're indexed by are a little strange. It goes from 114 to 111, decreasing. Ultimately, the words we have to fill in are pretty simple. Fundamental principles are basics. Architectural supports are columns. Tops of waves are crests, and dark complexion is swarth. To crack the theme of the puzzle, we'll need to look at the numbers, 2, 8, 20, 28. As it turns out, these are the first of the magic numbers in physics. These are the numbers of protons or neutrons in atoms that lead to stable nuclei. Larger nuclei tend to lead to unstable isotopes that undergo rapid decay. However, based on these so-called magic numbers, it can be theorized that larger nuclei can be stable with certain ratios of protons and neutrons. This is known as the island of stability. And looking at the amount of protons on the y-axis, it ranges from 110 to 114. An exact match for our rows. Going back to the puzzle, look at the title, Elementary Crossword. As it turns out, every line of this puzzle can be written with the initials of elements. Take the stable isotopes in the island of stability and overlay the shape onto our crossword. The resulting letters AC, U, CR, ES, TS, and W can also all be written as elements. And looking at the periodic table, there's a clear trend in these elements. It's a little bit easier to see if we move the lanthanides and actinides into the place where they actually exist. All of these elements are either in row 7 or column 6, and at the intersection is the element we're looking for, seaborgium. The element with the initials SG. Very clever. Callie Conundrum starts with, "Oh no, Isabel was supposed to call a number of clients today, but her notes were damaged, and she doesn't remember who the last person on the list to call was. Can you help her figure it out in time?" And then a picture of Isabel from Animal Crossing and a Nowaka cell phone. Below that is a list of people, musicians, composers, and characters. Let's make this a little bit easier to read. As hinted at by Isabel's presence, we can deduce that these are the artists of jokes in Animal Crossing rips. In Animal Crossing, the in-game time is the same as the real-life time, and notably, each hour in-game has its own song, and on the soundtrack, their name is the hour that they play. What we have to do is find the Animal Crossing rip that each artist corresponds with. The first name, Elton John, corresponds with 5 PM beta version from Animal Crossing New Horizons, where the joke is the song Benny and the Jets. 4 PM from Animal Crossing New Horizon contains the song Blind by DaBaby. This process is the same for most of the contacts. Freddy Fazbear, the eponymous Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's, is referring to 6 AM from Animal Crossing New Leaf and 6 AM from Five Nights at Freddy's 3 being swapped. Now we have the hour for each contact. The AM and PM doesn't matter here, we just need the number. Starting from the top of each column, draw a line between each number. 5, 4, 1, 2, 8, 7 draws the number 9. 2, 8, 5, 4, 6 draws a plus sign. 1728932 draws 10. As we all know, 9 plus 10 is 21. In 24-hour time, 21 o'clock is equal to 9 p.m. There's only one 9 p.m. rep on the channel, and the joke is the song Sans from Undertale. As it's also the character's name, we can conclude that the answer is Sans. Raddest Rips is a take on the Finest Flicks puzzle from the CS50X Puzzle Hunt. Raddest Rips gives a letter. Most are M, D, and Y, and a description in the X but it's Y format, similar to the channel's 2024 April Fool's Day event. Each line describes a rip or an event. If it's D, take the day it occurred on, or was uploaded. M, take the month. Y, take the full year. Winter But It's Old refers to the winner of the King for a Day tournament, Hypercam. Hypercam Day happened in October, so 10. Animals Dance But It's in a Board Game sound font is Next Area Othello World, where the joke is Bear Cha-Cha. It was uploaded on April 5th, so take the day for 5. Repeat this for all of them. Slip Up Sector But It's in the DN sound font is the only one noted with a T. It's referring to Accident Area 6, so we can interpret the T to mean title and treat it as 6. Now that we have each number, convert the number to the letter in that position in the alphabet. A is 1, B is 2, etc. 10 is J, 5 is E. This one is a year, so 2019. 2019. 20 is T, and 19 is S. Repeat this for every number to spell out Jet Set Radio Future. The bottom of the page says you are, and the character you play as in Jet Set Radio Future is Yo-Yo. High IQ ciphertext is a block of ciphertext that will have to be sequentially decoded using gradually more complex methods. First, apply a ROT7 shift to the whole block to reveal the beginning. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand Rick and Morty. Next, decode the block using the Vigenère key, Rick and Morty, to get the humor is extremely subtle, and without a solid grasp of ferroequinology, most of the jokes will go over a typical viewer's 4 brain cells. Diverging from the original copypasta, it mentions ferroequinology and 4 brain cells. Ferroequinology is the study of railways, so let's decode the rest with a rail fence cipher with a height of 4. There's also Rick's nihilistic outlook, one which is added into his characterization. His personal philosophy draws heavily from George Orwell's literature, for instance. Here, nihilistic is misspelled, now containing the word hill. Using a hill cipher, we need a matrix. With the mention of George Orwell, we can figure this is 1984. It also says one which added, so add 1 for 1985. The fans understand this enigma. They have 6 Rubik's Cube sized brains to truly appreciate the depths of these jokes, to see the reflection that they're not just fun, they say something deep about life. Enigma here hints at the use of the Enigma cipher. For the Enigma machine, we need rotors, which are 3 digits, a reflector, which is 1 letter, position of the rings, which is 3 letters, and a position of the rotors, which are 3 numbers. For rotors, 6 Rubik's Cubes. 6 cubed is 216, so 216. For the reflectors, see the reflector, so use the letter C. For the positions in the rings and the rotors, 2 words in the copypasta were shortened, fun and lif. Use these for the rings and rotors respectively. Doing this, we can decode. As a consequence, people who dislike Rick and Morty truly are idiots. Of course they wouldn't be able to decode, for instance, the chaos in Rick's existential catchphrase. It's hinting at the chaos cipher, which needs 2 discs, which are just 2 alphabets. Rick and Morty. The words Rick and Morty each have no repeating characters, so we can extract the letters to the start of the alphabet. This lets us decode the final text. Cucumber, which itself is the answer to the puzzle. The answer is cucumber. Snapshots from Around the World is another GeoGuessr puzzle. However, this one's a little bit more difficult. Some of the images are considerably easier to locate than others. The first one is in London. The third one is in Mumbai. This one is in Yokohama and New York. Observant viewers may have pieced together that these are stops that Phileas Fogg took in the Jules Verne novel Around the World in 80 Days. And looking at the rest of the pictures, it seems to line up. Number 2 is in Suez, Egypt. Now that we know the cities, it's time to find the exact locations. Using any tricks you might know, go to Google Street View and recreate the image as closely as possible. We can notice that all of them seem to face northeast. As hinted at by the image of a watch with the face replaced with the compass, imagine each compass points to the numbers on a clock. Take the street you're currently on and note down the letter at the index. London is pointing at 1 o'clock and we are on Victoria Street, so record V. 2. Suez. The compass faces 2 o'clock and we're on Corniche Street, so note the second letter O. 3. Same story. Points to 3 on Sayani Road, so record Y. Do this for every image and we spell Voyageur, or Voyager written in French. A pretty apt description for the main character of a French novel who voyaged around the world in 80 days. Colorblind Quirtle gives us 4 Wordle grids that have been played with the same 5 words, a la Quirtle. We know the answers are voice, mince, joker, and feral, but we don't know which one goes in which grid. We know that all of these light gray squares are either green, indicating an exact match, or yellow, indicating the letter is in the word but in the wrong position. The person playing has guessed 5 words. He says he's maximized the chance to find the words, so he must have guessed 5 words with 5 different letters, totaling 25 letters of the alphabet. The first hint to cracking this is to look at all of the grids. There's one cell that's lit up in all 4 grids. There's only one letter in common between all of the answers, E. So we know that that cell is definitely E. We're going to need to find out what set of valid words can contain 25 distinct letters. Fortunately, this work has already been done for us. Thanks to this Git project by Bruce Ediger, the answer is pretty easy to find. There are 10 combinations. We have to start eliminating some of these. As it turns out, if we look at all of these words against our 4 known words, we can start eliminating some. Vajd on voice would result in 2 light and 3 dark, which doesn't exist anywhere on our board. So we know it's one of these 2 groups and definitely has the words fjord, vibex, and waltz. Fjord on feral results in this pattern, which we only see in the top left grid. We can do the same for vibex, which makes a pattern that only appears in the bottom left. Same story with fjord and joker. We only see the pattern in the bottom right, so mince has to be in the top right. Now to find the final word, the second guess on the bottom left must have a C in the center, so that is gux, and the only remaining word must be nymph. Filling out all of the boards, we see each one only has 1 green tile. Reading in order, we get the answer, 5. Also the amount of words we had to find. Very clever. Visionary Ideas gives us a list of ideas for rips that don't exist yet. Well, because they don't exist yet, we're going to have to find another way to link them together. A lot of these clues are very obscure or difficult to figure out on their own, but once we learn the thematic link of the puzzle, we should be able to work backwards to piece them together. Take a look at the name of the list, My Stellar Rip Ideas. The one that's probably the easiest to figure out is this one, Duck Hunt x Lester Green Alpha Mix. Lester Green is more famously known as Beetlejuice from The Howard Stern Show. Have you pieced it together yet? Betelgeuse is perhaps the most well-known extrasolar star in the sky, at least known by name, but it's also known by its Bayer designation, Alpha Orionis. Alpha clearly lines up with the Alpha Mix in the rip's name, and Orionis gets its name from the Orion constellation, which itself is named for Orion, a hunter in Greek mythology, a clear connection with the source being Duck Hunt. Now that we know that each line refers to a star, let's go through a couple of them. Deltarune x Mother 3 completion refers to Delta Cassiopeia, named after Cassiopeia, the mother of Andromeda. Weemaway x Densha to Go Beta Mix. Weemaway might be better known as The Lion Sleeps Tonight, from which we can deduce it is Beta Leonis. It's also known as Denebola, which shares the first 3 letters with Densha to Go, and the above idea in minor key is going to be Beta Leonis Minor. With a bit of effort, we can find the corresponding stars for each line. Now pull up an astronomical map and highlight the listed stars. They're separated into 3 groups of 4, which I'll mark with different colors. Each group has a cluster of 3 and then 1 farther away. You may have guessed it, but each one is drawing an arrow. The 3 arrows point to the North Star, Polaris. Hammer It Home presents us with just a QR code. Scanning this, we get the text. The answer hides in the central 13x7 grid. However, if we try and create the QR code with this text, we'll see it's different. We'll need to look at just the aforementioned central 13x7 grid. Treat the white squares as zeros and the black squares as ones. Taking a hint from the title, these numbers are encoded using Hamming code. Without getting too into it, basic Hamming code allows binary data to be stored with error correction, allowing the value to be read even if one bit is incorrect. This is the same reason why there can be data hidden in the middle of the QR code and still have it be scannable. In his original paper, Richard Hamming defines the 7-4 Hamming code, which can encode 4 bits of information along with 3 bits of error correction for a total of 7 bits. We have 13 groups of 7 bits, so let's error correct them and convert them into the true 4-bit values. Now, we can smush all the values together and separate them into ASCII characters to reveal the final answer, signals. For the final puzzle of SG Classified, let's go back to the first one in the folder. This is all you need. This one is legitimately complex. Solvers were pretty quick to piece together the theme of the puzzle. This is all you need is a reference to the landmark research paper, Attention is All You Need, which is credited for laying the groundwork for the transformer model used in the current generation of generative AI. As you can imagine, the details of this paper get complicated quick. What we need to focus on is the attention function it defines, which takes 3 variables, the query Q, the key K, and and the value V. These line up with the playing cards from the puzzle. We have V already, so we just need to find the 3x3 matrices for Q and K. Q has a picture of the math YouTuber Matt Parker, also known as Stand Up Maths. In a number file video from 2016, Matt proposes something called the Parker Square, which is a near solution to the unsolved math problem of trying to create a 3x3 magic square with all square numbers.
This diagonal here doesn't work, so I'm not calling it the Parker Square.
Starting with the Parker Square, take the square root of each digit and then divide it by 500. Now we have the Q matrix. For K, there are two gravestones, one for Omega Crab Lays and one for the number file. Well, if we go back to Waterfall Short Mix, we can see Omega Crab Lays' final coordinates before being struck and killed by the E tile. They are -6.9, 0, 9.8. In the problem E from Arc 1 of the ARG, we see the number file's final coordinates are 3.3, -2.2, 0.9. On the tombstones, there's an image of Norm from Phineas and Ferb. This is telling us to normalize the vectors. Then transpose Omega Crab Lays vector and take the dot product of the two. Actually, this is the outer product. Now that we have all three matrices, we'll need to fill out the Y, W, and E tokens at the top. Once that's complete, we'll feed them through the attention formula to find the final answer. Each token seems to correspond to one letter, with Y being 23/5/22, 23/5/22, May 23rd, 2022. On May 23rd, 2022, the RIP Y from Kero Blaster was uploaded. Following that logic, we can intuit that W is referring to W from Deltarune, released August 9th, 2022. Same story with main theme E from January 15th, 2017. Now all we have left to do is follow the formula from Attention Is All You Need, and it doesn't work. You might be asking, what happened? Shouldn't that have gotten us the answer? Well, the SIVA Gunner Calculation Convention Crisis, a Question 1 Postmortem, is a research paper written by Guinea Week, Ambrose 2, and 91124V. In it, they explain what the "this is all you need" question asks, what the error was, why they weren't able to find the solution, and propose a potential explanation for the error. They also say please don't share this yet until it's been formally addressed with the author, but I have done just that. You've got the context already, so let's skip that. Here, they calculate the correct solution, but this formula doesn't match the one in the original paper. In section 3.2, they prove that this function is equivalent to the one in the paper if the matrix is transposed from row vectors to column vectors. Most of machine learning, including the Attention Is All You Need paper, make use of row vectors. However, one particular piece of knowledge on the topic uses column vectors, 3 Blue 1 Brown's deep learning video series. In fact, in part 6 of the series, you can see the same differing function along with this footnote. And that right there is the crux of the issue. I'm packaging key and query vectors as columns of their respective matrices. Many machine learning resources, including the Attention Is All You Need paper, packages them as rows. The Question 1 research paper cites another one of his comments with its reasoning. I personally like to think of embeddings, keys, queries, etc. as columns. To be clear, these two representations are mathematically equivalent. This is simply a stylistic choice by 3 Blue 1 Brown that cascaded down, eventually causing this question to go unsolved. However, now that we know to use column vectors, we can calculate the proper solution. After applying all the formulas, we get the following result. These are very close to integers, so round each one to the closest number. We can infer that this will be the same single-letter RIP name method as the YWE input tokens. For the first column, 22/8/23, on August 22nd, 2023, M from Minecraft Dungeons was uploaded. April 16th, 2022 is Boing 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 from A, and March 14th, 2024 is T from 2. We can conclude that the answer is Matt.
I wouldn't.
Wait.
What?
Oh,
someone says they got it. Someone
they got it. Who got it?
Val Toadstool. What?
God damn it! It is right. Yeah, we got it. We got a file. We did it!
Is it a No, it's not a Balatro.
There's no fucking way.
I'm streaming. It's Balatro.
It's Balatro. Oh my god.
It's Balatro.
One thing you should know is that throughout Arc 1 and part of Arc 2, solvers were memeing that the reward at the end of one of the branches was going to be a Balatro mod. And in fact, this repeated meme was my impetus to actually create this mod. Let's follow what it says. Install the mod and hit unlock all. It seems there's still some lock jokers at the end of the collection. And there's this one challenge just called Regarding Susie. It seems we'll have to beat this challenge to unlock the next step. Each person who plays the mod will have a different number here. Mine is 2 out of 3. This determines what part of the URL you'll get when beating the challenge. The mod features 22 new jokers, as well as new art for all of the tarot cards. The challenge revolves around this Eternal Suzy card taking up one of your Joker slots, as well as Jokers from the base game being rental and perishable. There's Jokers for each branch of Arc 1, and there's Jokers for the channel in general, and some even have some hidden interactions. Some of the cards are ridiculously powerful, but hey, this is all just for fun. I'm excited to go more into depth on how we made this mod in a future video. We're in the final stretch now, just a few steps before reaching the end. Assembling the 3 fragments found from beating the Bellatra challenge, we get a YouTube ID. It links to the temple from Ghost Runner 2. In the description, the composer is replaced with a hash. Well, the temple is composed by Ghost, which happens to also be the name of a hashing algorithm. Though hashing functions are not usually reversible, Ghost is an old algorithm that was invented, I believe, in the 70s and was formally broken in 2008. So we'll have to reverse engineer this hashing function in order to get the answer. And by that, I mean put it into a website and press decode. From that, we get an ID of an Imager image. Cool Met Facts. Seek out the Evil Doctor's Fairy, 575664. This guy is a Met, short for metal, from Mega Man. There is a game called Mega Man Maker, which lets you create your own Mega Man levels. If we go to this one with this ID, we find the level, MM2 Test. It's a copy of the Woodman level from Mega Man 2. What we're interested in though are these blocks. The first one is a metal tile, the second a magma tile, third one is a time bomb with a 2 on the sprite. This is a Wily 2 tile, and this is a dive tile. If we take the first letter of the tiles and the 2 on the time bomb, it spells out MM2 Wood. Do the same for all of the tiles to get the final internal database directory, mm2wood/bridge/desktop/backup. This one is on the C drive though, not the X drive as all of the other directories have been. Hey, if you're reading this, you want to find me. First, don't bother. Second, I'm not going to make it clear. I'm only writing this to make sure I don't get lost completely because I know I'm going nowhere. And then it links to a file. Well, let's go to that desktop directory and we get the text file, Oracle input, and finally, the final step, the Suzy ARG. Paste the contents of the file into oracle.exe for the final Oracle log, 22 Bridge. Thank you for your assistance. I will make my way to his location. This won't take too long, but please give me a bit to prepare. Locating this file signaled the end of the Suzy ARG and initiated the release of the finale, The Meeting, a Siva Gunner Christmas comeback side story. With the release of The Meeting, the true objective of the ARG was revealed. Our goal was to assist Suzy in constructing the bridge and locating Woodman, and it appears we were successful. Thank you very much for watching. Making this video was absolutely insane. Like, subscribe, whatever. I appreciate any support. I'd say I'm never making another video this scale again, but that's a lie. I'm cooking up one more massive video on a different ARG that you don't want to miss. First, thank you to the contributors of this video. Then, I'll try and thank as many solvers as I possibly can. Thank you to Lazy P for the background art, EG for the original soundtrack and help with the Wave Tapper video, gameplay recordings by Motor, Bob the Taco Cat, Zarlable, and Spotty Gamester, various fact-checking by all of the above, as well as Acro, Menindo, and DDA, the Balatro mod team, DDA, Kiwi, Party Rock, and Psych Lantern, JT for this ARG explainer art, special unthanks to Sony Vegas 16, a big thank you to every single person who participated in this ARG, whether you solved puzzles, made art, or just generally contributed to the atmosphere. It's, well, yeah, but let's try. Thank you to Small Blue the Dockmaster, Magnum for solving a lot of steps, James and Virosol for compiling the Oracle codes, writers of the SG Classified Question 1 research paper, Guinea Week, Ambrose 2, and 91124V, as well as major solvers for the SG Classified steps, Hisa, Vianetta, A4, Jade, Blackbird 6, Gamercum, Gutsy Man, Walgus, Maximus, Yeeted, Gudo Bakazi, Pyromide, Bad Random, Birdie, and Glacial Symphony, as well as everyone else who's not mentioned above who signed the sign book. Other Lego, Skylar Clark, Funny Jelly, Yeshi, Hush Cultist, DSQB, Pinata, Cyrus, Taco Bell Security, M-Player, Ditto, V577, To World Machine, Cricket, Peep, Gamer Come Again, Narjos, Humisty, Cat and Chaos, Calvin, Charlotte, Lo-Fi, Allaroon, Iron Fanatic, Gadget, Vess, Super Lag Bro, Corb, Steve Harvey, Tai Lung, 64 Lu, Napita, Noon, Diz, Binary Pen CH, Pete, Blockion, Jay, JT, Jedio, Moodle, Rated Kid, Lunactia, Parange, Sky Kid, LVS 200S, Gamer the Lore Scholar, Jay, JF Suichi, Fluffy Liam, Some Guest, Glass Memoir, Fruit Juice, Zandoshi, Delta Lemon, sorry I can't think of a good name, Terra, Val Toadstool, Gamer Come One More Time, Red Diamond, Henry Guy, B Spoon, That Cool Dragon, Dewian, MM2 Wood, Kayla, Blizzy, Platypus, McMoney, Fluff, Julio, Glass, Vriska, Stargate 18, Danny, Rosie, Tom, Bup, Bosnian Sex Haver, Scooterlay, Chris, Jodo, Viator, Dorp, Danny, Kay, Maddie, Laciel, L.A. Watson, Parkorius, Octocore, TD the TV, Edith Gears, Dum Dum, Lair, Ann, Husk, Elix, Sharkmatone, and Gorodot. And a special thank you to you for listening all the way to the end of this 2.5 hour long journey.